Hello,
What's going on?
everyone. Welcome. Got a little Sunday stream going on here.
Yeah.
Um,
What's going on out there, people?
yeah. How we all
Right.
doing? How are you doing, Z?
Doing good. Just been reading a little bit of news, chilling. Just Sunday. How about you?
Same. Chilling on Sunday, and then yeah, got a couple other things that I'm doing today as well that maybe I'll save for the end because one of these things actually I'm gonna try and stream on this
Okay.
channel because I think it's a really good rally going on. Yeah, but yeah, really excited for this stream because we're definitely going to be talking about a couple of things going on that isn't necessarily front and center news, but is
Mm-hmm.
I think really important um, and such. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Because you're right.
yeah,
Because just because it's not front and center does not mean that it is not just as important as the front and center news. Because a lot of times, like the biggest things get overlooked.
yeah. In fact, let's just come out and say it. Like if it's not front and center, it's probably the most important, more important things that's going to affect your life that they don't want you to know about. Right.
Exactly. That's very true. But I
So,
mean, we won't just be focusing on everything too serious. There'll be some fun things in there. Like our the middle story is gonna be pretty fun, I think.
yeah, fun and interesting. Um, so yeah, Z, what do we got for our first story?
Well, our first story is today. I want to go over the how lawmakers in Mexico have approved nationalizing their lithium supply, and so this is we're going to start with Kenny Stansel's editorial on common dreams. And it starts off with lithium belongs to Mexicans, not transnational corporations, said one legislator. Now, Mexican lawmakers this week passed legislation to nationalize lithium, a mineral needed to manufacture rechargeable batteries for electric vehicles. Mexico's Senate approved the mining reform bill by a margin of 87 to 20, with 16 abstentions on Tuesday, one day after it was advanced by the country's lower house of Congress. The bill recognizes lithium reserves as federal property and gives democratically accountable lawmakers rather than profit maximizing multinational corporations over a resource that has been dubbed white gold and the new oil. President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, who also goes by the nickname AMLO, is expected to sign it into law as soon as this week. That is huge. So now instead of you have to think about the fact that I know everybody out there, we know we use lithium is like a huge part of our everyday lives. So we have lithium in our rechargeable batteries, the electric cars that are coming up, pretty much anything rechargeable or that can be, charged. So Mexico's pretty much kicking out any company that is trying to come in, or any country that is trying to come in and mine and take hold of those resources and profit off it. And instead, they're going to be the people of Mexico are going to be profiting off of it. So that's a very radical move, very very left move from the president of Mexico, AMLO. And I gotta tell you that's very surprising, especially given the state of things, especially with any country that has been trying to go out of the mold in the past couple of years. Like we have Venezuela, we have the coup in Bolivia, uh, and even I know provoking the Ukraine and Russian situation. Just just seeing all these things that have been happening, it's pretty crazy that Mexico has got the gall to do that, and I have to commend them on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, you were saying that this was a very left move from the president, a very radical move. I think what's even more interesting is that it was approved 87 to 20. So there wasn't even any real fight against it.
Yeah, that's if that was a if that like you said, if that was a campaign or a vote of a person, that would be that. Well, that is still considered a blowout, but if to put it in like terms that people like, that you can like see it, if that was a race between two people, that would be a crushing defeat. That literally would be like the will of the the will of the majority. Definitely, there's no margin of error in that.
Or I guess to even compare votes that have no problem going through in the United States, that would be that would be like approving a war budget for us,
Exactly.
right?
It goes
80,
right. That pretty much went right through.
yeah,
There was
exactly.
no fight. And just to show you, like, just to say, like, there's far right and conservatives in Mexico as well. However, AMLO, their president, apparently, from what I've heard, his approval rating is what 70%,
Yes.
and which is like I don't even know what that even would even be like. And we can't even imagine what that would even be like. And even among conservative polls, apparently his approval rating is around 60%. So that just goes to show you, if someone gets in and starts doing what they say they're going to do, maybe people will respond accordingly and be like actually like you know
Yeah. And I don't at all claim to be a Mexican historian, right? However, I do know that NAFTA really messed up their economy a lot.
mm-hmm.
So, if putting two and two together, if something like NAFTA, where they have continuously gotten screwed over with trade, which is continuously making it so that they have a lot of job instability,
Yeah.
I I imagine the general population, the general, lower income middle class population would be okay with this, right? Um, because they know what multinational corporations can do to their general population. Um, I thought I wanted to quickly pull up a quote here on Common Dreams, where AMLO basically calls the people who voted no against this and voted in the interest of multinational corporations treasonous.
Isn't in this I think it's in here, isn't it? Let's
It's in the
see.
Common Dreams article, I believe.
Okay, let me see. I'm
Let me see.
trying to, yeah, because basically if you are pretty much, if you didn't vote for this, you're trying to sell out your people to multinational corporations. You're literally trying to sell out the country's one of their main supplies that could actually help your country, and you're trying to line your own pockets, and that's very treasonous. Let's see. Looking for it. We'll have to go back and find that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I was on mute and I thought thought I was talking.
That's okay.
I'm reading it right here. It says the president described the right-wing opposition's refusal to support his initiative to overhaul the country's power system as an act of treason against Mexico committed by a group of legislators who, instead of defending the interests of the people, became outright defenders of foreign companies. Can you imagine if Joe Biden said that to Congress?
And
Like,
that's not, and the thing is, that's not reactionary. That's okay. So
no,
like they do that reversed here. They'll be like, these people are selling out so the companies can't do what they want to do.
they hate our country.
Yeah, exactly. But really, like, if you were trying to sell out like your country, like the majority of your country, to companies who are just going to come in, exploit the people, and you really are being treasonous and selling out the people, and to hear that from like you wouldn't hear that from Joe Biden. You wouldn't even hear that from Bernie Sanders.
No, no, you wouldn't at all.
No,
Um,
that's what is needed. Someone who's going to tell it like it is. I mean, because that actually that's true.
it's true, and if we're going to use that metric as a way to tell if someone is treasonous or not, then I guess our whole entire Congress is treasonous to
As
America.
hell. Exactly. That yeah, it's like holy crap. But if y'all want to go keep checking out that article, that article is called "Mexican Lawmakers Approve Bill to Nationalize Lithium." It's on commondreams.org, and that's in the sources down below the video. And I want to switch to speaking of videos, I want to switch to this video right here. It is on Breakthrough News, and it's actually going to go. It's going to go over a little bit about the situation with the nationalizing. It's called Elon Musk's worst nightmare, and I don't know if anyone remembers with the coup with Bolivia. It was about like a year and a half ago. Someone commented about all the lithium cars and all of Tesla and all the companies that were trying to coup Bolivia, and Elon Musk responded to that person, and this is what he said. Basically, he said, "We will coup whoever you want. Deal with it." And I think that this is one of those kind of rebuttals. Mexico's like, "Well, we're going to nationalize our lithium. Deal with it." So we're going to have to see how that trend plays out.
All right, well, let's switch gears here to another important issue just to the south of us, some of the important political developments in Mexico. And we are very, very honored to be joined by one of the most fantastic journalists out there, Alina Duarte, who is an independent journalist and also a senior research fellow at the Council on Hemispheric Affairs. Alina, thank you so much for being back with us.
Thanks for inviting me. My pleasure to be here with you all the times that we need to be here. So thank you again.
No, thank you. A lot happening in Mexico. I want to start here with the lithium issue. Obviously, this is a major issue given that lithium is the main, the ingredient for electric battery or batteries for electric cars. Mexico recently, I believe, nationalized lithium. Maybe just explain to us, what exactly happened first, and then also what it means for Mexico as a country.
Well, it's a long debate. I must say that I'm really happy to see these kind of debates now in Mexico under AMLO's administration. It's something that I couldn't have imagined 2 years ago that something like this would happen. There are two specific moments about this discussion. The first one was the one that we, or maybe everyone, saw at the Congress last Sunday. It was the congressmen tried to approve an electrical reform. That was the first reform. There's the electrical reform and the miner reform about the lithium. So they wanted to approve this electrical reform that did not nationalize the electrical industry. And even when we were not asking for the nationalization, the Mexican state should have the control of 54%, 56% of the national the electrical industry. And the initiative, the private initiative could participate with 44%. It was enough to start a big campaign against AMLO's administration. So it wasn't approved at the Congress a week ago. We saw that this reform had 275 votes in favor, 223 against, and it was a debate that lasted 12 hours, and it was a big mobilization outside the Congress. It was just amazing, but they needed more than 300 voters, so it didn't happen. The electrical reform didn't pass. So the next day, last Monday, we saw the president in the Mañanera, this conference that he gives all the mornings here in Mexico, sending a new initiative to the Congress, and then it passed to the Senate. It was this initiative about the lithium. Even when we had an article in our Constitution, of course, the 27th article that says that the ownership of the lands and waters included within the limits of the national territory corresponds originally to the nation, which has had and has the right to transfer ownership of them to individuals constituting private property. It was not.
So they usurped pretty much. They went against. They reformed a whole bill that gave all the natural resources to private property, which is awesome.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And yeah, and just like she says, she keeps pointing out, the fact is that she's never seen that. They haven't ever seen anything like this in their lifetime in Mexico, because like you said, Mexico has been getting economically destroyed from NAFTA for the past 20 years. So they've had their issues with their, from the cartels, the left and right swinging back and forth. And I know the cartels were not happy about AMLO getting elected, because he's also been pushing for legalization of marijuana, which has been a huge deal with the cartels. And one of the main leading causes of the drug war at the border. So I just want to keep playing a little bit more of this, and then I'll point everybody in the direction of Breakthrough News, because they do really good work.
Enough during the last decades. What we saw was just the neoliberal governments just giving our territory to the transnational, specifically to the U.S. and Canadian enterprises and companies. So he was trying to nationalize, because we need to say that currently there are already companies exploring the lithium in our country, in the north of Mexico, basically. So with this reform, the Mexican government now reserves the right to withdraw the companies, the permits, to exploit the lithium. We know that this is one of the most important minerals nowadays, and it caused the coup against Evo Morales in Bolivia. And also, I was so happy to listen to President López Obrador saying that, remembering the coup in Bolivia. We have heard a lot of investigations, the declarations of Evo Morales saying that a very important part of the coup in October 2019 was the lithium. And we remember also Elon Musk saying, just deal with it. We're going to give the coups that we want. So that's why it's so important, this discussion. I think this is the most important discussion that we have had.
The Latin America and Central America has not forgotten Elon Musk saying that. Like I'm pretty sure like they're coming back with a vengeance after he said that, because that was some bullshit. I mean, when Bolivia was couped, Evo Morales, he was hiding out in Mexico. So yeah. So I mean, that's a direct course. That's almost a direct correspondence from that action. We're so like with every time we do something in like with an imperial intent, it sows seeds of resistance somewhere. And people just need to be aware of that.
And as we see with all these different elections that have happened in Peru and Honduras, right? All throughout Latin America, they're starting to wake up and they're starting to go very much left. So you are really getting a sense of, like you said, Z, a reaction to all the imperialism that has happened there directly and indirectly on the part of the United States for the last several decades. And so,
and I think that exactly, and like you said, those elections have been like, and even in Brazil, I mean, we have Bolsonaro at the moment, but even his opponent, who he had jailed before the last election that ended up having him win, Da Silva is actually, once again, he is going over. His approval rating and the polls are beating Bolsonaro out.
Yeah.
So it's just showing that there's a wave of consciousness happening in the Central and Latin American countries, and it's very refreshing, because one, it's pretty close, and two, you may be able to take out one country, but you can't take out every single country at a time unless you use, terrible tactics. But
which
is possible,
very much happen,
which is possible, but yeah.
Under these 3 years
with AMLO, a little bit more of this.
And I think he has been radicalized, his speech, but also his actions. So I'm really, really happy at seeing these kind of debates now in Mexico.
Alina.
Yes, she said that his not only his words radical, his actions are radical as well, and that makes a big difference, because being radical is not it's not political. You can't encapsulate radicalization in the political spectrum, and people respond to it regardless. Like, no one from the left or right has seen anything like this, so they're like, what? He's fighting for us?
And let's be real, whenever you watch a Democratic primary debate, particularly early on, there's a lot of people who sound very left and radical, right? And then as it goes on, they start to go to the center, and then you get them into power, and it's like, your policies are very similar to right-wingers. Cool.
It's like, what?
Is there some sort of discussion also about the potential ramifications? Because like you just mentioned, you did have Elon Musk threaten to coup any government that takes over its own lithium. Lithium is obviously a very important resource that many people with power want to get their hands on for very cheap. So is there a discussion of how to deal with the potential blowback for a decision like this, which is a very important decision, of course, but the reality that we live in is one of imperialism. And certainly there are forces, particularly in America, within the US and North America and Canada as well, who are looking at this and who are very upset about it, I'm sure.
I mean, the government has been always saying about the role of the corporate media here in Mexico and the international role that I have been during the last months specifically. They've been attacking AMLO's administration because of this reform. It's not a coincidence. We've seen exactly the same in Bolivia. We've seen exactly the same with the oil in Venezuela and everywhere. So now it's really important what you're asking, because what we saw in Bolivia in 2006 after the nationalization of the resources, it was also a new a new uh, a new company of the state, like a national company of to explore and to exploit lithium, and it's gonna be the same, exactly the same. Actually, that's one of the arguments, quote unquote, of the opposition. Say that we want to be a dictatorship like in Bolivia and in Venezuela, because we are following kind of following these steps, building our own company.
Yeah, a dictatorship of the people.
For sure.
I'd rather have like normal people deciding things than like giant companies who just test chemicals on us and blow things up and then like leave them the way they are and don't even try to like.
At least you know who those people are.
Exactly. At least we can go to people and be like, the company is literally based there, and you can just be like, this is our government doing it, not some board of people who are like scattered across the world and can't be held accountable because a company's fucking a human.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I think I implore everybody to go to check that video out. It's also under our under this video. It's on Breakthrough News. They do really good work, but we want to move on to something a little interesting in the streaming world, and I'm gonna let Andrew take that over.
Yeah, so, and this is very fascinating to me, because when I first saw this, my first reaction was, so this is all about CNN's plus stream failing, okay? When I first saw that, I was like, ha ha ha, that sucks for you, sucks to suck, right? And I still a little bit have that reaction. However, when you actually get into the weeds of it, there's a lot of, I think, nuance in here that is worth discussing, because I think we're not necessarily talking about a shitty streaming company, which, let's be real, I mean, the news landscape just got a little better without CNN Plus being a part of it. But I think what we are talking about more of is the structure in which our economy is based upon, that dictates whether or not you're getting laid off from your job. And that is something that affects us all here. So I'm just going to pull up this NBC article right here that I think just gives a basic breakdown of what is going on. So give me 1 second. Pulling it up. Add to stream. Here we go. Perfect. CNN's parent company said Thursday it will shut down CNN Plus, a streaming service launched less than 1 month ago. Warner Brothers Discovery Inc., we'll circle back as to exactly who they are in a second, announced the streaming service's operation would end April 30th. The service, which carried live news, original series, and interactive features, launched March 29th. In a complex streaming market, consumers want simplicity and an all-in service which provides a better experience and more value than standalone offerings, and for the company, a more sustainable business model to drive our future investments in great journalism and storytelling. JB Perret, president of whatever, I don't care who he is. We have very exciting opportunities ahead in the streaming space, and CNN, one of the world's premier reputational assets, will play an important role there. This language sickens me for some reason. I mean, I know why. It's just extremely just like capitalistic jargon.
It's bureaucratic. It's bureaucratic bullshit.
Yeah, it's just like,
this
is
like,
gonna be
we want you to enter our world and blah blah blah, and this will be a forerunner in the innovation of all. And you're just like, what the hell are you talking about? It's a streaming site. Like it's like it's not that, like, no one gives a shit. Give us some good content and shut up.
Exactly. CNN Plus leader Andrew Morse is leaving Warner Bros. Discovery, the company said. CNN is a division of Warner Bros. Discovery. All right, so it's okay. So here it goes, right? So this is, I think, a good for a little bit of history. The CNN Plus product was created when CNN was still under AT&T's Warner Media umbrella. When Warner Media became Warner Bros. Discovery, following a combination with Discovery earlier this month, basically a merger and acquisition, Discovery CEO David Zalov helmed the newly merged brands and had his own ideas for CNN. And then, so the swift demise of CNN Plus suggests company executives have acknowledged the competitive headwinds in the streaming space. They basically wanted to consolidate the streaming service, CNN Plus, and other different services together, is what I'm getting out of this. The incoming chairman and CEO of CNN said the company would focus its efforts on core news gathering operation. And customers who signed up for the CNN Plus streaming service will receive prorated refunds, the company said. All right. So I used NBC to give us a little bit of information on the overall objective. Now, NBC is also a corporate news outlet, and I'm going to go in on this article as well because nowhere in this article do they talk about all the people who have lost their jobs because of these two companies merging together and then deciding to go in a completely different direction. Right.
Because I'm sure it's not just like the top talent. I'm sure it's like people who are just like also like people who are doing lighting and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Like people who are like actually putting the show together. I'm sure that they're like their shit's like, you know.
Yeah. And I want to bring thank you for the comment. Pity the poor millionaires. And so this is, I think, a great comment to go off of because for me and how I look at this, I don't give a fuck about CNN Plus. Again, the world news outlet, the news space is a little better because they don't have a streaming service that people don't have to be propagandized to. However, this happened because of a merger. And every year, mergers and acquisitions go up more and more. 2021 had a record number of mergers and acquisitions, right? And so basically what I'm saying is, let's be real. Small companies died out. So many of them died out during the pandemic. The majority of people that work for some big company, big corporation, right? So if more of these companies are merging together, that's going to cause more and more layoffs amongst people who do come from more modest means, right? And so that's how I look at it. I mean, again, Jeff Zucker, the former CNN president, who resigned in February for not disclosing a relationship with a close colleague, right? He was involved in the CNN stream, right? I have no love lost for any of the people who were involved in that ridiculous.
That was the guy who gave Trump he quite literally was the guy who gave Trump all of his airtime on CNN for the most part. He pretty much made Trump.
Yeah. So, fuck them. And I think we do, as leftists, we really do need to be thinking about the implications of these things and how they could affect us when it comes to the hard truth that companies are merging together and laying people off.
Yeah, there's going to be like in like 10 years, there's going to be like one company.
Exactly. Exactly. That's where we're headed.
Like because like you have to think about it. Even in the world of anime, Crunchyroll streaming service just acquired Funimation, and up until then you had just three giant companies. You had Crunchyroll, Funimation, and you had Netflix who were streaming anime. Now we've gotten to the point where Crunchyroll just bought that, and so you have Crunchyroll and Netflix now, and that's two places to go. And yeah, that's cool for people who like want that convenience. But you got to think about all the things that get laid on the wayside because all the projects that upcoming people things that get rejected that would have usually gotten like picked up by a smaller company, because and who would have taken risks on it that a bigger company won't take risks on, because they're a company. They're only thinking about the money, not thinking about imagination. Now, besides that, Crunchyroll is under the umbrella of Sony, so it's like it goes even further than that. So it's like it's one corp, like it's becoming one thing. Like everything is just becoming one company. Eventually, you're just going to be living in like an Amazon apartment, going to the Amazon pharmacy, and you're just going to be around the warehouse.
Yeah.
It's turning into feudalism again.
Exactly.
If not already being in a techno feudalist state. I don't know.
Right. And I think so. I wanted to address this comment. I think Jamel Hill said that people like her with the lucrative comments, would be okay. I'll reserve my empathy for the employees who get kicked to the curb. Absolutely.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. And that literally that's literally what we're talking about.
Once again, I do not give a shit.
Yeah, Don Lemon's gonna be okay.
This is about the corporate structure that is causing mergers to happen, that non-millionaire workers get affected too by this, right? And so this is, I think, why I wanted to bring this up, is because I think on Twitter, and this was what I first saw, there were a lot of reactionary takes. People on the right were like, thank God CNN Plus is out, because, fuck CNN, right? And then liberals were saying, think about the people at CNN Plus who lost their job, right? Neither one that are actually getting to the meat and potatoes of what is actually happening, right? Which is that mergers and acquisitions are happening regularly, and people are losing their jobs that are not millionaires, right?
Exactly.
And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I think as leftists, we need to dig a little deeper into these things beyond the superficial things that liberals and conservatives are always trying to center shit around.
We and especially in liberal world, liberal thinking, I think, is one of those things where they're like, how do I say this without sounding like super offensive? Liberal and conservative ideology. Conservatives have the right idea about things, but they put the wrong content. They think women in they hate women. They hate different races, and they hate more than two genders. Yeah. But working in things like that, you do have to, and there takes a whole system to make things work. In that respect, and you have that liberal ideologies where everything just grows on trees, and you could just like grab it. The orange juice grows in the store. That is like the liberal idea. But right. But there are people behind the scenes working. There's nothing making that orange juice happen. It's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna go get some orange juice or order off Instacart. Everything takes labor. There's no. That is true. Like that is true. It's just that for conservatives, that ideology is so twisted. Who is doing the labor? They just want a certain group of people doing the labor. But labor does make everything. I mean, without labor, we wouldn't be able to produce this, because we wouldn't have any of the items that we would. It's just, this is how it goes.
Exactly. And so, yeah, I mean, whatever this streaming service that they're going to consolidate is not going to be much better. It's just going to be a different form, I guess. I don't know.
And I think Loon's right. This has to do with a lot about the net neutrality getting axed. And yeah, that's probably huge. We had that. What was this? I forgot the smiley FTC head guy, but under Trump, he was just like,
Ajit Patel.
Yeah, Ajit Patel came in, smiled, and then disappeared. Like
yeah.
Like, dude, that dude was not a good actor.
Right. Yeah.
Ajit Pai.
Pai. Okay. It was Ajit Pai. Thank you, Ludin. Which is like a textbook oligarch, right? You're in the background. You kind of maybe make a little bit of an appearance, and then it's like, goodbye, you're gone, even though all of my actions have something to do with why you're struggling right now.
Exactly. I think that's perfect for the what we're doing right here, because it's basically the overlooked. Like, that's overlooked, just like the background is usually overlooked. Like the mechanics of the things, like the the news that you just go that people just like that's too boring to read, but inside of that big boring article, there's a nugget of truth that is gonna just like affect you so hard.
Right. Right. So, yeah. And I don't know. I mean, everyone who worked for CNN Plus, I mean, I'd like to know how many employees there were, like how many of them actually got laid off, and if they all were making a lot of money or not. I don't know. Who knows? But
Well, and we know that like not being not when you're the talent, you don't have a
right.
hard time getting a job, but like it's when you're like a person who's doing like lighting or just makeup and stuff like that, it's not like that. Like there's some hardcore jobs where you pretty much are a freelancer until you get like
right
until you get an actual like gig. So
and you're not
every person
at all.
That's liberal arts are never going to be respected, or never going to be respected until we actually value people, and because it's just not one of those things people care about. People just care about the face.
Yeah. No, it would be interesting to do like a deep dive in the types of jobs that are behind the scenes, like lighting, and how much they work and how little recognition they get.
And they get the shit abused out of them.
Oh yeah. I have a friend who used to be a PA, production assistant, for Ellen, and this was like a few years before it finally came out that she was like a piece of shit. I know we're digressing a little bit, but basically she would not acknowledge any of the PAs. If you wanted to say something to her that was important, you had to first talk to her assistant, who would then relay your information to her. Like you couldn't even literally go up to her. That is
the level of people don't understand the level of narcissism, like the level of like up their own ass and narcissism that is Hollywood and the media spectrum of that. It is, those aren't real people.
Yeah, no.
And they really don't think like normal people. Like what? I need you to, that doesn't even make sense.
Exactly.
I can't be bothered by the voices of peasants. It's like, what? Fuck you, Ellen. But you can go cozy up to a war criminal, but you can't talk to a fucking like snack boy on the set.
And then her overall message is be kind to one another, right? When she meets with George Bush and people give her pushback to that, it's like, why don't you be kind to the people who work for you first? That might be a good start for being kind to one another. So, yes,
he kills starts the death of 6 million Middle Eastern and brown people and black people, and it's like, oh, hugs. Tries to ask you, can they go use the bathroom, and you just like direct them to another person.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Fired.
Oh man. So
I think I have a video for a little bit for the CNN shutdown thing. If we can share just like a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Because like I don't think it's funny. Like I think like there's one side of it that's funny to me. Just the fact that it was there for like they hyped it up and it was like 3 weeks. It was only on for 3 weeks. Like that's like unheard of in the streaming world.
Like the executives and shit that went forward with it and then failed. Yeah, I'll laugh at that. Yeah. Like
I would love to get my hand on some of the what do you call it? The view numbers. Like I would love to see some of the view numbers. Like it's just like a normal, like it's like holy crap. There's people on Twitter who get like who just like posted one video and get like more views in this whole series. Like I bet there's stuff like that on there where it's just like, oh my god, nobody even watched this show.
I mean, yeah. I can't fathom the fact you have a news show or a station that's on 24/7, and then it's like on cable, and then it's like let's also bring it to streaming. Like I don't know who.
Such a waste of cash, and just the waste of cash too. Like it's like that could have done great things for people, but they don't think like that. They just think about the fact that
right.
Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live, everyone. The streaming landscape shifting dramatically for two major platforms just this week. Today's Warner Brothers Discovery decision to shut down CNN Plus adds to the subscriber woes, rather, that Netflix reported for its most recent quarter. So joining us now to discuss the state of streaming is Jessica Reif-Ehrlich, who is the Senior Media Entertainment Analyst over at Bank of America. Jessica, great to have you here with us today to break this down. So how does the cancellation,
that's right.
Absolutely, how does the cancellation
FCNN,
of CNN Plus
PBN.
alter the valuation and even perhaps the rating for WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery?
Well, it actually does not. We really love the WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery story, and have thought that CNN Plus would be DOA as soon as Discovery took over. The mystery is why AT&T rushed the launch, why they spent so much money. They spent probably 3 times more than Fox Nation spent in the whole time it's been on, with significantly fewer subscribers. So in our view, Discovery, Warner, or the new WBD management made the right decision, and we're just puzzled regarding what AT&T was thinking to begin with.
Jessica, what's next for Warner Brothers? Is it one massive bundle that includes all those properties and perhaps at some point folds back in CNN?
They just closed the combination 2 weeks ago. And so when Discovery reports Tuesday, they will not have operated Warner Brothers at all. But we think this combination will be really a fantastic combination. We see it as a growth and deleveraging story. They haven't yet given their go-to-market strategy for streaming, but our expectation is that they will have a very robust entertainment offering, HBO, some of the Warner product, the Warner films, and news and sports. So unlike most of the services that are available, this will have, again, a broad array of content, of entertainment, but news and sports. And they will also offer subscription as well as AVOD or subscription.
So I guess they're going to go with a different, they're going to make a new streaming site.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. Like,
yeah, that was confusing.
From what I got out of it, I think they were going to combine some CNN Plus shows into this streaming platform with other shows outside of CNN. Like, I think they're just combining different types of entities together. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I won't be watching that.
Yeah, I won't be either. We can move on to the next thing.
Yeah. So, I wanted to just highlight this group right here. Give me 1 second to find them. Veterans for Peace, who recently, I believe this past Thursday, blockaded Raytheon plant. Give me 1 second. Let me share. For whatever reason, we have to press another button to share things. So here we go. Happening now. So this was a few days ago. Folks in North Carolina are blocking the entrance to the new Raytheon plant. Reject war industry, reject Raytheon. So I think it's always good to highlight, similar to what me and Z did a couple weeks ago with the coal baron blockade. I think it's always good to highlight direct action. Even if it's not necessarily direct action that's well known, because hence overlooked news, right? We're trying to bring this more into the mainstream so that people could be aware. But I think it's great what this Veterans for Peace organization is doing. And there's actually, I went on their website. I'm going to put on their website real quick, because it looks like there's like a coalition of different groups who are trying to expose the military industrial complex and all the damage that they do globally. And so wanted to just kind of give a quick shout out to them. And so their website can be found right here. Where is it? Give me 1 second.
That's right above me. That's the state right above me. It's North Carolina. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, North Carolina actually has a very huge socialist history, to be honest. Like to be if you go back and look, they have a lot of socialist revolts in the state.
Yeah. Which is interesting because I think North Carolina, we're talking about unions, they have the lowest, I believe 3% of people in North Carolina are unionized, and I think they have the smallest unionization. I did learn that recently.
Probably still more than we have here. We don't have any, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about probably in the public sector, you maybe have some, right? I don't know.
That's why I feel that's why it's important. Like you have the Starbucks in Virginia right now. Like any unionization in the South is going to be a huge deal. I mean, it's already a huge deal that it's happening, that there are unions happening, but it is a huge deal in the South if we can start breaking down here.
Yeah, yeah. So this is their website. Yeah, so this is their website, Veterans for Peace. Sorry it took, sometimes these tabs just disappear on me and then I have to go back and dig them out. So exposing the true costs of war and militarism since 1985. And so they have all these different campaigns. So from my understanding, these are veterans who realize the destruction of war, and are really trying to expose all the corruption when it comes to the military-industrial complex. So members of Veterans for Peace have formed the VFP Climate Crisis and Militarism Project to address the connections between U.S. militarism and the climate crisis. They seek to educate and mobilize others to help us stop U.S. militarism and reverse its environment impact. And if you go on their website, they have different events and initiatives that they're doing. It looks like they have a lot of different working groups. And so, and so definitely this I think it would be good to get a hold of one of these people and interview them just to hear a little bit more about what they're doing. Because
we'll have to do that.
Certainly, no one else is going to want to, or, anyone in the corporate mainstream media is not going to want to, say this, show this. So, yeah, that's just something I wanted to kind of quickly highlight and such. So, Raytheon be gone. Yeah, that. Imagine if a world without Raytheon. I mean, we'd still have Lockheed Martin and other, Halliburton and all those places, but at least it'd be, one step better. One less. Sort of like CNN Plus, where it's kind of like one less.
It's like it's like it made a difference, kind of, but hey, it's gone. Like it's not like I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I wanted to highlight a little bit of Amazon because I know that they were having a rally. Amazon across the street from the Staten Island place that got unionized, or they won a union election a few weeks ago. And, not to belabor it too much, but there were some politicians that showed up to these rallies, as you know, Z, Bernie Sanders and AOC.
Heard of that guy? I've heard of her.
Yeah, I've heard. Both of them sound a little bit familiar.
Those names, they ring a bell.
They ring a bell. I don't know where we know them from. And I guess kind of my overall question is, what do you think that them showing up, what do you think it accomplishes in terms of this movement? And is there anything that we need to be kind of keep our eye on and be careful of?
So we need to be careful on the fact that, these kind of moves by politicians after they didn't show up originally are just face saving. However, the fact that they are responding and coming, we should not be questioning the fact that they're coming and showing solidarity with the workers. But we also still need to be cognizant of the fact that they are dim. They still are still dim operatives. They are dim.
Yeah, they
are Democrats. However, it's going to put a spotlight. It's still going to put a spotlight on these movements, and it's going to have a lot of people see it and change their minds on it, because a lot of people artistic and people are attacking AOC and Bernie for not showing up. But once AOC and Bernie actually go there and do the work, a lot of people will fall behind. Unfortunately, it sucks that it does take that, but we need to take it. We need to use that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with him being there.
Right. I think exactly. I think them showing up and using their platform to give a spotlight on that is literally them doing what many people have been asking them to do for like the last 2 years.
Exactly. That's all people have been asking for. No one's asked for. People have just been like, can you retweet General Strike?
Yeah.
It's like, make a thread or something. I know it only takes like 10, 15 minutes. All you got to do is tell one of your interns. Like, it's not like you got to do it. You got like interns.
or just like encourage your followers to just go to an event that you're not even organizing or going to be a part of. Just like give attention to it.
Yeah. Right? They know how far they can go. It's like I think Chris Hedges always says it. He says the Democratic Party and Nancy Pelosi have told them they know exactly how far they can go, and I think they pandemic times, which makes one wonder why are they doing it now. Now that's what's funny, because what I think that the fact that that's happening is because they've been shamed enough to come. I don't think that they are going in there nefariously, but I don't think that they're going in. I think they're going in there to save face. I don't think they're going in there because they're going from the goodness of their hearts. I think that they smell a whiff of actual, like, now that it actually has happened, because when it was before they voted, they were like, whatever, it's not going to happen. But now that actually happened, they're like, oh shit, now we need to jump on this train while we still can save some face. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah. I think similarly when it comes to that. So AOC got shamed on Twitter. Her showing up now, I do think, is somewhat a response to that. And it's now more politically expedient to do so, to show up, because now they won one union election, right? Within a matter of...
They got a whiff of they're like, oh, well, maybe this isn't impossible.
Exactly. Within a matter of a month, Amazon working to unionize became something that no one really was talking about, knew much about, to them winning an election. And so a politician is never going to go to this fringe event. That's just not how they work, because they play
it safe, unfortunately.
They play it safe, right, for votes. And now they see, okay, there's a lot of support behind it.
What is it? 70% of the U.S. is like supporting this union. So it's like, if you're not like supporting this union, you're pretty much a dude. Like, you are very politically like unintelligent, and like,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah,
I think that they want. I think they want credit for the original work they didn't do, but I also think they want to jump on just in case there's more, like actual more, so they can be part of that. And I also think that it's important to have AOC and Bernie there, because they're the two politicians who have called Amazon out the most, and actually,
yes,
for what it's worth, they've actually pushed Amazon in different directions. So having them there, along with Christian Smalls, who is the powerhouse that he is, I think that needs to have a spotlight on as well.
Very few things have like one reason, and I think there are multiple reasons why they showed up.
Yeah. I think that all these people are multifaceted and they all have their own reasons.
For sure. Exactly. And I think one thing I will say about Chris Smalls, and that I think I commend him for, is he's willing to go talk to anybody about what he's doing when it comes to Amazon, right? Going on, we talked about, I think, about him going on Tucker Carlson and how there was huge outrage, when in reality, he literally just stuck to the issues about what they were doing and educated a massive amount of people who aren't typically educated about unions. That's huge, right?
And he kept it. He didn't. I like the fact that which we did talk about. He kept it about Amazon.
Yes.
Tucker Carlson kept trying to sensationalize it and kept trying to have a reactionary, make him be reactionary, but he stayed on task just like he's supposed to. That's the point of going on things like that. As long as you don't get dragged into the shit narrative by the person who's trying to like you can get your information across.
And he got Tucker Carlson to literally say, as a conservative, I'm not usually for unions, but in this case, Amazon is doing a lot of, paraphrasing, BS things that I'm kind of for it. You know how many people that are brainwashed for Tucker Carlson and will do whatever Tucker Carlson thinks are now kind of like, all right, yeah, right on.
And I was about to say, that's because Tucker Carlson is also a dumbass, brainwashed asshole.
Yes.
And he literally will, if someone makes sense, he literally will fucking like just say what they said. Because he's like, oh, well, I agree with that because he's not smart. He's an idiot too.
Yeah.
That's why he gets paid as much money as he does, because he's paid to be a dumbass.
Exactly. For sure. Gets paid a lot to be a dumbass.
Exactly. And I think that that's something people need to realize, is the fact that a lot of these people are they're just talking heads. Yes. And the fact is, what people can, like, if they go on and stick to their narrative, they can change shit. The only other person I've seen do that to Tucker Carlson is Cornel West, where he'll just go on and he'll just be like, it's all about, he'll like spit the truth, spit some fire, and then Cornel West will be like, and then Tucker Carlson will be like, yeah,
he's got like that dumb look on his face, like okay, I don't really know what else to say now. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's about sticking to the narrative, and I can appreciate that. It's nothing wrong with going on news channels that people disagree with. Now, if you're going on some shit like, I don't know, like something that, if you're going, he's going like Alex Jones show, that's one thing, but
yeah. I mean, that's always, I always get a kick out of when people are like, he platformed Tucker Carlson. Oh, really? He literally gets millions of people who watch them, but somehow Chris Smalls going on his show is.
I hate when people say that. It's like, wait, he went on to, okay, platforming someone would be like, if he that's like him inviting Tucker Carlson to come to the fucking like labor vote. That's platforming Tucker Carlson. That's like, when you platform somebody, you ask them to come to you, not vice versa.
If Chris Smalls came on our show, he would be platforming us.
Exactly.
Because we got, 112 subscribers?
Exactly.
That would be platforming us.
I think that
you're welcome to come on our show.
And before we get out of here, I want to say that the general rule for the left right now should be, especially in a time of censorship, you use every mic you can until the mic gets taken away. Like, and you can't be picky and choosy when you only have like so many options. Right. If someone's like, come on, come talk, you go on and you go talk. If you believe what you say you believe, you're going to go on there and you're going to talk about it with conviction in the first place.
Mm-hmm. I think one thing I will just say is AOC and Bernie being there, make sure they do not take leadership, right? And so I hope that Chris Smalls really has some vetting process when it comes to people who suddenly come out of the woodworks and want to work with him on strategy. Because I think
personally, I'll be like, hit this. I'll be like, you want to hit this shit. Just seeing how they act from that, like I would, like, they're like, nah, not right now. But if they're just like, if they look all disgusted, then I'm like, I know where you can lie. I know where your fucking passions lie.
All right.
That was one of his union tactics. They gave people free weed.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was like, of course, that would work. Why wouldn't that work? Like that's amazing. He gave people weed and food, and that's how you win. That's using one of the most social plants, one of those social substances ever. By making that's a tactic to use. That's another reason why that's illegal, because it does really it still makes people come together. And if people have the right ideas when they come together, then it's over.
Exactly. Yeah. So this was fun.
It was.
Thank you all for watching.
I think next week we're going to be on Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to have a full panel, and we're going to have a guest, JB from RBN, from the Revolutionary Blackout Network. He's going to be joining us, and also from the Jay Buffont Show. So that should be really fun. And Andrew, anything else you got going on this week or coming up?
Yeah, so actually at 4 p.m., so an hour from now, I'm going to be headed to a rally that's close by to me. It's a local sandwich shop. It's called City Feed. The workers are trying to unionize, and the owner is refusing to recognize their union. And so I'm gonna try and stream it on here to see it, because I think it's always good to highlight. And I think this really just shows that places like Starbucks are unionizing, and they're a corporation, but it has a trickling down effect even to local places that are close by to Starbucks. And so I'm looking forward to going there and hopefully covering it.
That'd be awesome. Hopefully, I know the summer. I know down here that we have the summer. We have a lot of festivals and stuff like that are like that are really proactive. Like we have one like Malcolm X festival and things like that. I'm thinking about like maybe this year go down there, interview some people, get their perspectives on some things and the current state of things, and that going out and like trying to, especially since I mean COVID's still around, but being outside and stuff, you can still be outside and whatnot. I haven't really been. I haven't been over in enclosed places, but it's just as long as you're being careful and not being stupid. Like, I think everything will be okay. But I mean, I'm not trying to downplay COVID, but I'm just saying,
for sure. Yeah. I mean,
unfortunately, we are in this time period, and we have to still be able to try to live while we're since the government and everybody have given up on this pandemic. And
if everyone's ignoring it, and now there are factors that kind of push you.
Sometimes you did like sometimes So if you are forced by these factors, just be careful and stay sanitized. And
for sure. And so but I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm going to be seeing, this is just, more of an individual thing. Going to be seeing Ron Placone tonight, coming to town to do his comedy. So I'm looking forward to seeing him for the first time in real life.
You should invite him on the show sometime if you can.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're able to walk up to him, you'd be like, "Hey, I've streamed with you, bro."
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm gonna. It would be great to have him on here.
Just get a drink in you and just go up. Just be like, all right. And you know what to do. Want to hit this? That's the vetting process. That's always the vetting process. But
Ron does not have any issue hitting that. Remember, he gave Joy weed for the first time ever. Yeah, so
that's awesome though.
He's the one getting people to hit shit.
We'll have the panel on the Wednesday. We have a Wednesday panel coming up with another guest, and we'll be seeing y'all next week. Hopefully some more. We'll have other shows besides. I think like Locked and Left is going to be back on Monday. Not sure, but
they go on every other week,
mm-hmm. and I think Red Scared will be back next week because I know he did not do that yesterday.
Yes. So,
but keep in touch with all the things by going down and subscribing and hitting the like button, and stay tuned for more content because we'll be pushing it and pumping it out as much as we can.
For sure.
All right,
everyone. Peace.